All right, we know what the abuses are, and I couldn't agree with you more. But the question that I have, and I'm going to go to Ron DeSantis on this, is the president comes out, he says, I want a special counsel. And the attorney general says, no, I'm going to have the IG do it. President says, wait a minute, IG takes too long. He's behind schedule right now with what he's doing. And the IG has no prosecutorial powers. And yet there are some people who are agreeing with him. And I'm not sure what Devin Nunes's position is on this. Are you?
Oh, I think Devin Nunes is supportive, like we all are, of appointing a special counsel, because just think of what we've uncovered in the last 7 or 8 months with this investigation. I mean, you have people like Comey, who testified before Congress that he didn't make any judgments on Hillary's case until the very end, and now we know they wrote a memo exonerating her 2 months before. We know Comey leaked memos, one of which at least had classified material. We know Christopher Steele probably lied to the FBI.
Okay.
We know Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. So here's the thing, Judge. There's more basis to think that criminal statutes were violated with those individuals, then there was a basis to appoint a special counsel for Trump-Russia collusion. So do we have equal justice under law?
No,
or
but
does
Jeff
Trump
said,
get...
Ron, Congressman, you know I love you. I admire everything you're doing, both of you. You come here, you talk to my viewers. We keep saying Jeff Sessions has to do it, and he won't do it. And in a show of support, Jeff Sessions goes out with Rod Rosenstein after the president tweets in a show of, solid unification, the two of them. What are we going to do? The president's not going to get rid of Sessions because he doesn't want to go through another thing like he did with Comey. What's going to happen?
You have 535 members of Congress. We sent a letter this week that has 13 House Republicans signing the letter. It is important for more members of Congress to get behind this effort, for more people amongst the American public demanding this type of accountability. While we are taking care of, there are individuals, while the president's hand was on the Bible taking an oath of office, the inaugural parade route was lined up with people calling for his impeachment right away.
Right.
They have pledged to oppose, obstruct him on everything and anything, saying you can't work with him because if you work with him, that's legitimizing his presidency. So they're putting the president and his family through hell with no evidence of any crime. The American public needs to demand a second special counsel.
Yeah, well, tell them who to write a letter to, because there's like 2.5 million watching now. Congressman DeSantis, let me ask you this. Even the president didn't go as far as you guys to ask for a special counsel. He was kind of modulated on this, saying, why not just use Justice Department lawyers? What did you think of that?
Well, look, I would rather have that than the IG, because a Justice Department prosecutor could at least bring criminal charges against people who violated the law. And if the evidence is there to do that, that is something that needs to be done. The reason why I think a special counsel is preferable is because at the end of the day, bureaucracies defend themselves. And I think it's much more difficult to put somebody in DOJ in that position to investigate high-ranking people in justice and FBI. If you got someone from outside the swamp that didn't have any allegiance to this, I think that individual could come in, call balls and strikes, upset the apple cart, and finally people would be held accountable. So that's what we have to do, and I think that's what the American people want after watching all these many months of all these facts spilling out.
Okay, and you know what is frustrating is this guy Horowitz, the Inspector General, Congressman Zeldin, is worked with Jim Comey. In fact, I think he worked under Jim Comey in the Southern District. So what we have is, even in with this Inspector General, you've got someone with no prosecution powers, no grand jury, and a guy who worked for Comey and is part of that establishment. I mean, can't they go to, like, Iowa or somewhere and get someone who isn't part of that establishment?
And Ron and I were in the military. There's something that we would call force multipliers. The Inspector General can be a force multiplier in bringing additional facts to the public. But for these great these are legendary agencies, important agencies, with a whole lot of people up and down the ranks who are there because they love their country and they're doing it for all of the right reasons. So the Inspector General has the ability to provide additional value added and additional information that's necessary.
But I'm not willing to wait.
You should not have to wait. The President of the United States shouldn't have to wait. The American public shouldn't have to wait.
Okay.
So you have Ron DeSantis, Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, Mark Meadows, Louis Gohmert. There are a bunch of members who are leading this charge.
And my viewers so admire what you're doing. At least you're talking about it, Ron. You're running for the governor of Florida now, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So you're going to be gone at some point. right? So what can you do, or what do you expect to be done before you leave?
Well, that's why I think a special counsel, I mean, not that you'd have a charge tomorrow, but the Congress has done a lot of work. There's a lot of fact pattern that's been generated, and this counsel can take that, and then they can present that information to a grand jury. The IG is going to take a long time, issue a report, and then at that point, we may be 1 or 2 years down the road. So if you at least start it now, we have a hope of getting some accountability in the very near future. And there's a lot of facts that have come out, Judge.
Yeah.
This is not starting a case from scratch. There's been good work done in the Congress, and now's the time to seize that initiative and enforce the law as written.
The very good point. And there has been a lot of good work by, FOIA, congressional requests. But I think the American people see the dragging by the FBI and DOJ. All right, Congressman Zeldin and Congressman DeSantis, thanks so much for being with us tonight.